Now.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. All right. It's Friday the 13th, June 13th. We're very glad you're with us this morning. Please note this event is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, do you give consent for your name and picture to appear? Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2007, I took over facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. This group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007 when the prior leader landed a job. In 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org. I don't know why I had to create it, but we needed it, and hopefully everybody finds it useful. In 2012, I launched careerusa.org to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon, or I always have copies with me. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team. All right, our agenda this morning, we'll start out with success stories, or if we have any good news to share from somebody. We'll go then to job leads. We'll then have everybody do their 30-second introductions. We'll do those here in the room first, and then we'll get everybody online. Then we'll hear about the interview success workshop, the practice interview team, the career tip of the week, and then we'll hopefully have our main event around the top of the hour. Well, we like to start off with good news, success stories. Do we have any landings to announce? Anybody here? Anybody online? Landing? Yes, you want to announce it? Come on up.
My name is Jason Irish, and I have landed. It's a soft landing because there's still some things in place, but I landed at a job with Thrivent Financial that I've been pursuing for a while, and had my final interview yesterday. It's still contingent upon passing some tests, so I've got a little ways to go. Got to pass the life and health and the SIE, and then I'm actually officially an employee there. But I got the job through a friend of mine, actually works there and is going to be working on my team. And I was just really impressed with Thrivent Financial because they're the largest not-for-profit Christian-based financial services firm in the United States, and they're really connected with nonprofits. Is their kind of like really focus on what they do. I've been to events, I've been invited to their events and connected with them. So that's what I'm about, and that's what I'm going to be a financial advisor with Thrivent Financial. My name's Jason Irish.
Great. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jason.
All right. Anybody else? Yes, no. All right, let's go on. For everybody who's on Zoom right now, we'd like you to open up the chat window, put in your name, position you're looking for, your email, your LinkedIn address, your phone, what city you're watching from. Give us 2 or 3 target companies in case we can help you out, and then companies where you have connections. Let us know that information. We'll put 30 seconds on the clock and let you start typing. All right. I used to give everybody 60 seconds, but for some reason, YouTube bounces a 60-second version out and says you violated the rules. So I get by with 30. So that's why we only get 30. So if you're typing, continue to type, put your information in. We'd really appreciate it. All right. For everybody in the room now, we're going to start doing our 30-second introductions. If you want, just come stand up, grab the microphone, and we'll do 30-second introductions for those people who are here. Come on down. It's on this side over here. It's right here.
Hey, good morning. My name is Rob Swan. That's spelled just like the bird. I'm looking for project management positions or manager of operations. Looking for target companies like Keurig, Dr. Pepper, Toyota, Caterpillar, and I have contacts at Interstate Batteries. Again, my name is Rob Swan, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Thanks.
Rob?
Thanks. Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Michael Garber. I'm looking for a position as an IT program or project manager. My target companies this week are McKesson and Toyota, and I have contacts at Kyndryl. My name is Michael Garber.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tim Farrell. I'm looking for work as an electrical design verification engineer. My target companies, it would be any American defense contractor. Also recently applied to MediaTek and Etch Corporation. I've got contacts at Raytheon if anyone needs contacts. And once again, my name is Tim Farrell.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sean Toy, Supply Chain Director. I transform and optimize global supply chains and minimize working capital. Looking for my next position as a Director of Supply Chain. Target company right now is ACD Consulting. They're a subsidiary of Aero Parts Group. I have contacts at Medtronic and Alcon Laboratories. My name is Sean Toy.
Thank you.
Good morning, John Pinchot. I'm looking for a position as a project manager. My target companies right now are Ericsson and Charles Schwab. I have contacts with Microsoft. My name is John Pinchot.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Paul Hussar. That's HUSAR. I'm a VP, Director of Customer Service or Technical Support. Compass Data Centers is looking for me, and their recruiter found me. So I'm waiting to hear if I'm moving forward in the process. If you know someone there, it's going to move quickly, and I'd like to talk to them and get some information beforehand. I can help with contacts at LG. I'm Paul Hussar.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Steve Novak. I'm looking for a role as a director or VP of FP&A. Need a contact at Forward Air, and I have contacts at Texas Instruments. Again, my name is Steve Novak.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Hi, I am Martha Montgomery, and I am looking for a job as a client or customer success manager for a medtech device or something in the clinical field. I don't know who I need contacts for because I know they're looking for me like they're looking for Paul. I do have contacts at Hologic. My name is Martha Montgomery.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joyful Jenny Holcomb. I am looking for a sales and marketing director position at Poo-Pourri, and that is one of my target companies. And my connected company is Army Air Force Exchange Service, AFIS, and Duke Cannon and Toiletries. Again, I am Joyful Jenny Holcomb.
Okay, I can follow that. Hi, I'm Bindu Challapalli. I'm looking for leadership roles in data engineering and analytics space. I do not have target companies this week. I have contacts at Blue Cross Blue Shield. Again, my name is Bindu Challapalli.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Terrific Tammy. I want to be like Jenny when I grow up. I'm looking for jobs in the procurement industry, open to supply chain management or something in the nonprofit. Don't have any contacts, and I know people are looking for me, so I got to get my 500 contacts. So please add me, Tammy Woody.
Thank you.
Good.
Happy Friday. My name is Sarah Hoyle, and I am a financial loan analyst. And I'm looking for contact with Face Servicing. Unfortunately, I was with the federal government, so I don't have any contacts at this time. So anyway, again, it's Sarah Hoyle. Sarah Hoyle, thank you.
Hi, my name is David Coward, and I'm looking for a client account director role. I'm targeting Intuit, Korn Ferry, and Gartner. So, and I have contacts at IBM, PwC, and Manpower Group. Again, my name is David Coward.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Belzil. So I'm a senior director of product management. So I basically manage products that convert data into insights that generate dollars. So I'm looking for contacts at target companies, Synchrony Financial, Toyota, or Keurig Dr. Pepper. So I have contacts at
My name is Kevin Baku. I currently have an HR benefits position. I'm looking for a supply chain management role, specifically through a company called OxyChem. I currently do not have contacts this week, but I do have a contact through OxyChem. Again, my name is Kevin Baku.
Morning, everybody. My name is Jama Ball. I'm looking for VP Director of Operations in Service Delivery or Product Implementation. This week, I need contacts at Genesis and Smartsheet. I have contacts in the hospitality industry. My name is Jama Ball.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Penn, like what you write with an extra N. Hoyt, Director of Marketing in the B2B space. I lead the teams that drive the leads that sales uses to close the deals. I've got contacts at Deltek and various other companies in telecom and tech. Right now, looking for a contact at Shearer Supply, and again, Penn Hoyt.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Dara Patel. I'm looking for roles in product management or product support. This week, my target companies are McKesson, Southwest Airlines. I have contacts at CoAmerica. Again, my name is Dara Patel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Todd Haney. I'm a customer success and implementation specialist. I solve customer problems and keep them renewing. I need contacts at this week, Motorola Solutions and Sinopolis. And what the heck? Total Wine would be great as well. I currently don't have any contacts to share because most of my contacts are in the independent school districts, but I'll work for you. My name is Todd Haney.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Kathleen Dixon. I am looking for a VP or senior level sales and operations position. I need contacts at, or interviewing currently with Trustwell Senior Living. I have contacts at Atria, Brookdale, and possibly Target. My name is Kathleen Dixon.
Thank you.
Okay, I know I mentioned I landed. My name is Jason Irish, working with Thrivent Financial here soon, and financial services professional working my way towards. I do have contacts at Thrivent Financial as well as Schwab and several other financial services firms, as well as at Soldiers Angels, which is a nonprofit, and several other nonprofits. So if you want work at nonprofits, contact me. Thanks. My name is Jason Irish.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eric Sokolowski. I'm a credit risk analyst and a financial analyst, looking for contacts in any of the major banks, Texas Capital, JP Morgan, or Wells Fargo. I have contacts in a lot of the banks, in a lot of the real estate firms, a lot of the brokerage firms, and various private equity firms. Again, my name is Eric Paul Sokolowski. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in here? All right, let's go online. Let me turn this off here. Whoops. So online, that's Adrian.
Hello everyone. My name is Adrian Janko, a recent PhD graduate from Howard University. I'm looking for a research and development position at most likely semiconductor companies such as AMD, Microsoft, Sony, Samsung, Lenovo, or Amazon, or any academic institution too. I have contact at Howard University. Again, my name is Adrian Janko.
Thank you. Michelle.
Yes, good morning, everyone. This is Michelle Hawk. I have 15 plus years of experience in accounts receivable cash posting, working with ADT and pharmacies around here. I also gained 3 years lately in dental surgeon insurance verification, as well as patient advocate. I'm looking for a position at CVS. That's my target. I'm into pharmacy distribution again, or trying, and I need a contact within the revenue department. And I hope everybody has a great day today. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Jeanette.
Hello, everyone, and good morning. My name is Jeanette Bailey. I am seeking an administrative support position. I'm a customer satisfaction champion, and I am a teamwork pro. I am targeting the Allen ISD, United Healthcare, and Southwest Veterinary Partners. Please connect with me. My name is Jeanette Bailey.
Thank you. Sarah.
I'm assuming Sarah Joey. Good morning. My name is Sarah Joey. I am seeking positions as a global mobility specialist that is working with expats to move them around the world. My target companies are ADP, Amentum, and Lockheed Martin. My contacts this week, I have contacts at Citibank, if anyone needs a contact there. Again, my name is Sarah Joey.
Thank you. Vitaly.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Vitaly Platonov. I'm looking for supply chain and logistics positions. I'm targeting Caterpillar and Texas Instruments this week. And I've got connections at Hyundai Motor North America. Again, Vitaly Platonov. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna mess up this next name. Anuranda.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm Anuradha Subramanian, and I have over 8+ years of experience in full cycle recruitment, predominantly technical recruitment, and I worked with corporations like Amazon, Comcast, and also staffing firms. I'm currently doing freelance recruitment, and I'm looking for a full-time or contract opportunity in and around Plano, Frisco, McKinney, and or remote. Thanks.
Thank you. Brian McGovern.
Hello there. My name is Brian McGovern. I am looking for either an HR coordinator or benefit coordinator role. My target companies are Willis Towers Watson Spectrum, otherwise known as Charter Communications, Baylor Scott and White, and AMN Healthcare, and One Digital. I have connections at Mr. Cooper, and I believe I heard David Coward say that he was looking for someone who could provide him a connection at Corn Ferry. If I did hear that correctly, please reach out to me after the meeting. I may be able to assist you. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's see here. Callum.
Hi, my name's Callum Keenan. I'm a quality management and process improvement leader with extensive experience in aerospace and defense. I'm looking at aerospace and defense contract manufacturers and suppliers to A&D companies in the Metroplex. I have dwindling contacts at Elbit America. My name is Callum Keenan.
Thank you. Carolyn Pridemore.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Brightmore. I am looking for an HR manager or benefit manager role here in the DFW area. I am currently looking for contacts at Raytheon, Texas Instruments, and NTT Data. I have several contacts throughout the DFW area. I've heard ADP mentioned. I do have a contact there. And actually, I do have several contacts just, with recruiters in the area, if anyone needs any assistance there. Again, my name is Carolyn Pridemore.
Thank you. Casey Cockrell.
Hi, I'm Casey Cockrell. I sold my family business about a year ago and looking for another manufacturing role as a VP or director or COO. I'm targeting currently overhead doors, Flowserve, and Holman. If you want to connect, please connect with me. My name is Casey Cockrell.
There we go. You froze, so I didn't hear you.
Okay, I'll just start over. Hi, my name's Casey Cockrell. I sold my family business about a year ago. I'm currently looking for a director or VP role in operations, and I'm currently targeting overhead doors, Flowserve, or Holman. And if you'd like to connect, please connect with me. My name's Casey Cockrell.
All right, thank you. C-McGreen.
Hi there, I'm Markeisha Green. I am a recent graduate of Texas A&M with my master's in HR management, currently doing some consultative work for Scouting America and targeting particular roles that pretty much just align with HRBP, HR manager levels, who looking to take some of that strategic mindset and tactical mindset and combine them to grow. And as far as particular areas I'm targeting, I could just be honest, I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so just anywhere near there, open to relocation, but kind of just looking for something to stabilize.
Thank you. Cynthia with no last name.
Hello, I'm sorry, I'm Cynthia Hart. I am looking for administrative type role. I actually have a master's degree in human resources. However, it doesn't stop me. I also have a background in legal, so I also do contracts. So my target area, I've been looking at local and state government, and I don't really have any contacts. I'm recently back in the area. I've been gone for the last 4 years to PA and just kind of trying to find where I fit in at. Again, my name is Cynthia Hart.
Thank you. Lewis.
Good morning. I'm Lewis Groover. I'm the event guy. I'm skilled in managing events, venues, and logistics. I currently look for positions with starting with event, meeting, or trade show and ending with coordinator, director, manager, or planner, as well as looking at account management and sales support positions. My target companies are CVent, Shepard Expositions, Merritt's, and Gartner. I'm happy to connect with any of you and help in any way I can. I'm currently in the Tucson, Arizona market, but looking for roles that are in person, hybrid, or remote, and I'm open to relocation. As far as how I can help, I have a vast network, so please connect with me, and if I can help you in any way, I will be able to do that. Thank you again. I'm Lewis Groover, the event guy.
Thank you. Dawn Jones.
Good morning. My name is Dawn Jones. I am seeking a position as a quality manager. I have a background in, of course, aerospace and defense. As far as target companies, this week, Bell or Corning. If you have connections, that would be great. I can help with connections at Raytheon. My name is Dawn Jones.
Thank you. Champlin.
Yes, I'm Don Champlin. I'm a transformation consulting advisor. I bridge gaps in corporations, finding so that I can bring successes In my career, I've worked with over 3,000 different corporations and has saved tens of billions of dollars. I'm Don Champlin.
Thank you. Aaron Abood.
Good morning. My name is Erin Abood. I am looking for vendor management, customer service management, or some type of management in aviation. My target companies are Garnet, Rents, DFW Airport. I have some contacts at different companies. Let's connect and happy to help you in any way I can. Again, my name is Erin Abood.
Thank you. Gabriella.
Hello. Hi. My name is Gabriela Villafaña. I do finance and pricing manager for alcoholic beverage distributor. I'm looking for the same type of role for any CPG company. And I have contacts at Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits. Again, my name is Gabriela Villafaña.
Thank you. James Sanders. Hello, James Sanders. All right, let's go on to Jennifer Rhodes.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Rhodes. I'm a talent acquisition professional with experience in early career strategy and full lifecycle recruiting. I'm looking for any TA or recruiting roles in the DFW area. My target company is American Airlines, and I have contacts at Santander.
And you are?
Jennifer Rhodes. Thank you.
You are. All right, John Zenek.
Howdy, my name is John Zenek. I am a software development operations director. I'm looking for a role in technology operations, vendor management, transformation, and/or talent management. I can make a positive difference for your people, processes, and profits. My target companies this week are Thomson Reuters, and I have a lot of connections at PwC. Again, my name is John Zenek.
Thank you, Christy.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. My name is Christy Grant Coleman. I am a director, manager of learning and development or talent management. My target companies this week are Calibra, and Link Logistics. And once again, I am Christy Grant Coleman.
Thank you, Kelly McLean.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kelly McLean. I'm a learning and development professional, and I'm looking forward to today's content. And thank you, Jeff, for making this possible. Again, I'm Kelly McLean.
Thank you, Michael Wilk.
Good morning, everyone. I am Michael Wilk, looking for a position as a senior quality engineer, quality lead, or quality manager. My target companies include Collins, SNC, TI, Raytheon, and Encore Wire. I have contacts at L3 Harris and Raytheon. I'm a veteran with top secret clearance. My name is Michael Wilk.
All right, so don't hang out with Michael because he'll have to kill you if he tells you anything. All right, Mike Knoll.
Hi, and happy Friday, everybody. I am your friendly neighborhood quality professional with extensive experience in aerospace and defense, and I am also a cleared and certified quality engineer and manager. I'm looking for a position as a quality manager or auditor or consultant or a corrective and preventive action team facilitator, or maybe even a quality tools trainer. I'm looking for contacts at Polara, RTX, Sierra Nevada Corporation. I have contacts at L3 Harris. And my name again is Michael Null. It's easy to spell, Null, but hard on your computer, Mike Null.
Thank you. Randall Christopher.
Hi, my name is Randall Christopher, and I am seeking a logistics audit or analyst position in the technology or telecommunications industry, generally in the DFW area. My target companies are Honeywell, NT Systems. I have contacts at Samsung Electronics America. Again, my name is Randall Christopher.
Thank you, Rosina.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Rosina Gallman. I am your career tip of the host, so I'll be back in just a few minutes. I'm looking for a position as a senior talent acquisition partner or senior recruiter position. I need contacts at USAA, TIAA, T-Mobile, Hudson RPO, and Wilson RPO. I have contacts at a variety of different places, so I'll reach out to you directly as I hear them. And then again, my name is Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner or Senior Recruiter position. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, Sarah. All right, let's go on to Shay.
Hey, good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. I'm Shalacy Sanye. I also go by Shay. I'm seeking a business analyst, business process improvement type role here in the DFW area or remote. Target companies would be 7-Eleven, Visa, JP Morgan Chase. And I have some contacts at KPMG and also some contacts at Southwest Airlines. And I'm looking forward to connecting and collaborating. So I will touch base with some of you via LinkedIn and let's connect. Hope you all have a great weekend. Again, Shalacy Shay Sanye. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Oh, okay. Verlissa Madden.
Thank you. I'm Verlissa Madden, and I am looking for Director of Internal Audit, Director of Risk and Controls, or Director of Process Improvement, anything in that vein. I need contacts at, I'm looking at banking, insurance, higher ed, so USAA, TIAA, Comerica, anything like that. And I have contacts at AT&T, Deloitte, and Grant Thornton. Again, my name is Verlissa Madden.
Thank you, Kathy Dixon. Oh, you're on the computer too? Okay. Jose.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jose Herreria. I'm looking for a position as a director or vice president of operations and manufacturing engineering. I need contacts at Honeywell or Kimberly-Clark, and I have contacts in aerospace, in particular L3Harris and Safran. Again, my name is Jose Herreria.
All right. Did I miss anybody online?
Can I go?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Kathy Dixon. I'm a senior technical writer. I have extensive experience documenting and editing user and administrator installation and technical support guides for hardware, application, and system software, including APIs and processes and procedures. The rules are the same no matter the industry, so I'd love to help you develop new content or polish existing content. Kathy Dixon, senior tech writer.
All right. Did anybody miss anybody else online? All right, we will move on. Okay, job leads. John is with us from computerminds.com. John, please go ahead and tell us about what you do.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. John Machinsky here, the Director of Admissions at ComputerMinds.com. I'm decided to do my quick little commercial about the Computer Minds program and the WIOA scholarship. So if you're not familiar, at Computer Minds, we provide short-term certification training programs focused on information technology, networking, cybersecurity, project management, and logistics and supply chain certifications. And we offer these services free of charge because we have a partnership with the Texas Workforce Commission and the WIOA Scholarship. The WIOA Scholarship is a federal program pushed down to the states to manage. And if you're currently collecting unemployment or a government benefit, those are pre-qualifiers to apply for and navigate through the WIOA process.
Dallas County, Tarrant County, and the North Central counties all have funding right now. Dallas County specifically actually has more funding to spend than what they have bodies for. So if training and certification is something that you have been looking into, but maybe you haven't had the funding or the time and you have those things now, please reach out to me and I can help you navigate through the process. I've been working with WIOA now for 13 years. I work with all the offices and I refer multiple people to the workforce offices every week. You might have seen me at Frisco Connect and South Lake Focus Group. So work with a lot of individuals with these different groups. I will drop all of my contact information into the chat box. But if you're in the room there at the event and you're interested, go to computerminds.com. Just as it's spelled, computerminds.com, and request information. The only thing I ask is there's a drop-down box for how did you hear about us? Just pick South Lake Focus Group or Frisco Connect as the drop-down option, and your information will come to me, and I'll be able to help walk you through the process. Appreciate it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or ask away. There was a question in the chat about if your unemployment has run out, do you still qualify? Yes and no. It just depends on your current situation and also where you live at. Each workforce board operates a little bit differently. So if you're in that situation where you're interested, but your unemployment's run out, please reach out to me as well, and I can kind of coach you through the process.
Okay, so I got kicked out, not everybody else. Okay, so we got that question answered. All right, John, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
It's time to hear from Walt Glass in the Interview Success Workshop.
Well, good morning, everyone. You know, we're getting close to pre-COVID attendance, aren't we, Jeff?
We are.
This is really looking great. A lot of good people, a lot of people. How many have we got online? Got like 35 online today. So isn't that something? Well, my name is Walt Glass, and I run a free workshop called the Interview Success Workshop. Now, for me, it's good news. For me, it's bad news. I'm going to have to suspend registration to the workshop. There's two reasons for that. One is I got so many people in the backlog. Instead of doing one a week, I'm trying to do 3 a week to catch up. So I don't like people having to wait 2 to 3 months to get into the workshop. So what do I leave behind? Well, on the Career USA YouTube channel, which Jeff will show you at the end of this session, there are 13 videos that Mark McDonald, who was the leader of the pit crew before he passed away last year, have left out there. And so it's all about interviewing. It's a 13-step program, all right? You can also go to the sessions from the North Dallas Plano Focus Group, and there's presentations that I've made. There's a couple that are out there. One's called Selling Ourselves in Job Interviews, and another one is Successful Interviewing. It kind of gets into the weeds, and this Successful Interviewing talks more about your opening statement and negative questions and things like that. So those things are available to you. But if you send me a note and say, I'm interested in it, I'm going to put you in a QQ. It's you can get into queue later, so I'll still remember you. If you get a job in the meantime, so be it. You don't have to come if you get the job. All right. So it's kind of like, it's not really bad news in a sense. It's not the bad news, worse news joke. Have you heard that joke where the doctor calls the patient and says, I got bad news and I got worse news? He says, what? He says, well, your test results are in. He said, well, give me the bad news first. He said, okay, you have 24 hours to live. Well, what's the worst news? I forgot to call and tell you yesterday. So anyway, I'm still available by phone if you got some particular issue you want to, you need help on or something like that. You want to talk 15 to 20 minutes about something. My phone number is on the banner of my LinkedIn page. Be glad to have you call and I can help you with those things, one-on-one as we go through that. I also offer one-on-one consulting for a fee, highly tailored to your situation. your particular focus, your resume, your job description, that sort of thing. So if you're interested in that, you can also give me a call. My phone number is also there with my Yahoo email address. And to discuss that, be glad to participate, have you participate in that if you wish. So next week, I'm going to be just a regular participant and then introduce myself, and I'll tell you about my background and stuff. All right. This might be the last one for a while. So it's interviewing, I think. We need to prepare so we won't stink. To get that job of which we dream, get it and celebrate with Krispy Kreme. I am Walt Glass.
Yes. Just a shame I have it. All right, we're going to hear from the practice interview team. We're about the practice interview team.
Morning, everybody. I'm Jayma Ball, and it's my privilege to represent the Dallas Pit Crew. PIT stands for the Practice Interview Team. The gift of the Pit Crew is the opportunity to practice an interview with two or three panelists that will represent your target company, and you will get immediate feedback. How many of you have been interviewing? Raise your hand. How many of you got feedback after your interview? Keep your hands up. Okay. You won't often get that opportunity. Three or four panelists will, excuse me, I haven't had enough coffee this morning. Let's try this again. Two or three panelists will spend 1 to 4 hours preparing for the interview. In order for you to be a candidate on the interview, practice interview team, you're going to want to send an email to the dallaspitcrew@gmail.com. Thank you, Jeff. Send us your resume and a job description. It doesn't need to be an interview that you've already scheduled. It can be an aspirational job or a dream job that you'd like, and it could be an interview that you need to practice for. We're booking about 3 weeks out. If you look on LinkedIn for the Dallas Pit Crew, you can see our schedule. And you don't have to be a candidate to come join. You learn just as much. How many, raise your hand, have seen a Pit Crew interview? Raise your hand if you learned something at the interview. Those of you online, nobody dropped their hand. So you have the opportunity to come and observe. You learn just as much by watching. And if you have hired, raise your hand. This is an interactive session. How many of you have hired people? Raise them high so I can see you. I'm short. All right. How many of you that have raised your hands have fired people? Fantastic. Please contact Ron Layton at the Dallas Pit Crew. We're always looking for volunteer panelists. Walt Glass is a panelist. Your facilitator today, your presenter is Dee Robinson, and myself are all panelists, as is Paul, Husar. He also is a panelist. We can all tell you that we learn just as much researching your company and being a panelist as you do as a candidate. So join us every Wednesday, 1 to 3 p.m. right here, Christ United Methodist Church at Parker and Coit, except for the fourth Wednesday. That one will be on Zoom. You can also join us there. We usually conduct 2 to 3 interviews. Lots of opportunity for you to come and observe. Our motto at Pit Crew, practice early, practice often. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very, very much. All right. It's time for the career tip of the week. Rosanna, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. All right. Hang on 1 second. It's taken care of. All right. So this week's tip of the week. Well, we've completed our resume. We've practiced our interviews through Wall Glass Interview Success Workshop and the Pit Crew. And now it's time to find other opportunities to put these skills into action. So this week's tip of the week is look for your new job on social media. These are the best hashtags on LinkedIn for job seekers. And this article is by Helen Oswald of careers.io. So LinkedIn is a major resource when you're looking for a new job, but it can be super competitive. One way to get ahead of the game is to tap into the hidden job market. That's to leverage hashtags as part of your job search. So here's our expert guide with the best hashtags on LinkedIn for job seekers. Now, job search hashtags are great too, and that's to tap into the hidden job market on LinkedIn. And this often is overlooked and underused as far as a channel to learn more about upcoming job opportunities ahead of the competition. So, in this article, we'll explore the best hashtags on LinkedIn for job seekers, including search for job openings with hashtags, include hashtags on job posts, and then secure job seeker advice via hashtags. So first, you want to search for job openings with hashtags. Hiring managers will often create a post about a position on LinkedIn with a link back to their company website or job board. So these opportunities aren't always on the LinkedIn jobs. It's included in part of the post. So that'll be a hashtag to increase visibility to job seekers. And if you know the specific hashtags that recruiters use, then you can use that to search. You can use the search bar to type in those hashtags and uncover these hidden jobs. And so here's some of the hashtags that you should use. Hashtag now hiring, hashtag job opening, get hired, join our team, job opportunity, recruiting, job listing, hiring, and jobs. And then another option to use hashtags or keywords related to your specific industry or job type. For example, hashtag sales jobs, hashtag legal, hashtag marketing jobs, and finance and tech jobs, and things of that nature. There's a whole list. So the expert tip, make sure you follow your targeted hashtags on LinkedIn so that you can stay updated. And once you've typed in your hashtag, click the follow button so that LinkedIn, that will show up in future posts and it'll include these hashtags in your newsfeed. So the second thing you want to do is include hashtags on LinkedIn posts. Whether you're commenting on emerging issues in your industry or sharing a notable award or achievement, include hashtags on your LinkedIn posts. And that's a great way to boost your visibility and attract profile views. More views can lead to more opportunities, including attention from potential hiring managers and recruiters. And make sure to include relevant hashtags to the posting, including distinct industry or job function keywords, so that you're attracting the right attention. Here are some of the additional hashtags that you can use to highlight your activity. Hashtag job search, hashtag open to work, hashtag job seeker, recruitment, hiring, and hire me. Now you do want to make sure that your hashtags are relevant to the posting. If they're unrelated, then they won't be effective. You want to like, share, and add insightful comments to posts made by any companies that you're targeting. And this can help you stand out to recruiters. Now, you don't want to overdo hashtags on a post. Long lists can look spamming, and 3 to 5 hashtags will create more impact. Forget to add your resume to LinkedIn and attach the document to appropriate posts. You don't want to forget to add your resume to LinkedIn and attach this document to appropriate posts. You can tag this with hashtag resume on your post. And then the third thing that you want to do is secure job seeker advice. Hashtags are a great way to secure great insights and advice to help you on your job search progress. And so specific tags that you can use to find career advice in the industry, there are hashtag career advice, hashtag hiring and promotion, get hired, job search tips, job seeker, networking, professional development. Now, the 3 key takeaways for this article: using LinkedIn hashtags to search for job openings and career advice, combined with including relevant hashtags on your posts, is one way to boost your visibility and attract profile views and tap into the hidden job market. Second, you want to type in the # symbol followed by the keyword or hashtag in the search bar And then that will bring up relevant information to your job search. And then you click follow to receive updates on your newsfeed. And then third, you want to get started with the best hashtags for LinkedIn and include some niche hashtags relevant to your chosen job function or job industry to attract attention. Again, this article is look for your new job on social media. These are the best hashtags on LinkedIn for job seekers. Hope you guys enjoy the article. Please review it because I mean, there's a lot of other hashtags listed that I couldn't mention. And have a very wonderful and happy Father's Day weekend. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. All right, today for lunch, if come join us, we're going to go to Dickey's Barbecue. It's on Preston Road, just north of Parker, south of Spring Creek on the west side or the east side of the road. So come join us at Dickey's. A great way to continue our networking and getting to know everybody and how we can help each other. If you'd like to receive today's materials, you will get a copy of the speaker's presentation, a copy to the link to the YouTube channel if you want to go back and watch this video. You'll get a copy of the career tip of the week. You'll get a copy of the Zoom chat. To make sure you get it, for everybody who's brand new, if you filled out the little slip of paper and I can read it intelligently, I will add you to the roster. If not, I'll add information as I can to the roster. For everybody who's online, as long as I have your email address in the chat window somewhere, we will get you added. I have a few people who have joined us, but they never put an email address in, and I couldn't. So if you are one of these people here, please make sure that I get your contact information so I can get you added. For some reason, these people don't have any of their contact information on LinkedIn. So they obviously aren't looking to get a job. So if you're on the list, please let me know. All right, it's time for our main event now. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, just if you're on Zoom, raise your hand or go ahead and enter your question in the chat window, and I'll ask the presenter as she takes a break. We'd love for you to turn on the video so we can see everybody who's out there today. So our speaker today is Dee Robinson. She's a retired vice president of human resources for the North America Saffron. She will be speaking on find and negotiate your next great job. She'll cover the full job search process from getting organized to resumes, interviewing, and negotiation compensation for your next great job. Dee is retired from Saffron as a vice president of human resources for North America, where she led the U.S. HR shared services team and ensured the deployment of Saffron's group incentives across Canada, Mexico, and U.S., supporting over 25,000 employees. Saffron is an international aerospace and defense company with over 100,000 employees worldwide. She has over 30 years experience in aerospace, human resources, including HR strategy, labor and employment relations, benefits, and executive development. Dee is passionate about helping job seekers find their next great job, and she volunteers her time in this space, sharing her insights from behind the desk of the HR, along with the lessons she's learned from her own job search led her to Saffron. So please welcome Dee.
Good morning. Let me get situated here. Get the presentation up. Yes, I do. It's not letting me. I don't know, Jeff, it's not. There it is. Okay. And it's not sharing. Let me try again.
Well, let me stop sharing and see if, yeah, here it says you've started. It's
just a little slow moving on a Friday, isn't it? Okay. First, I just want to say how glad I am that you are here. Those of you that are online, those of you that are in the room. 10 years ago, I sat where you were sitting. I was a job seeker. I got laid off and I had to learn how to look for a job. I'd never had to do that before. I'd been promoted through internal advancement in a career. I got recruited away through my network. We're going to talk about that. And then the company had financial difficulties and they eliminated every executive position except the CEO and the CFO. And I was out of work for 11 months. I drove all over the Metroplex because we didn't have the benefit that COVID generated in terms of the pivot electronically. And I would say if you're in Dallas, please show up in person, make that drive, because that is going to strengthen your network and your relationships and really enhance your job search. But I've been where you are. So what I want to share with you today are the lessons that I learned, some of the tools that I used, and hopefully give you some insight from behind the desk of HR as to what's really going on from the HR point of view as well. Okay, so here you are. What is the meaning of life? And those of you that have extensive work experience may be trying to decide, do I do gig? Do I consult? Do I stay in my industry? Do I change industry? And I present this slide because I want you to know that whatever you're feeling is absolutely normal. And it is a very deep and introspective time for you. So it's okay to take that time and evaluate, but don't let yourself become paralyzed in analysis. At some point, you've got to make a decision and begin to move forward with that. Now, we'll tell you a piece of advice that I got from someone, and that was because, you know, HR, industry agnostic, I'd had a long time in aerospace and defense, union negotiations, all of those kinds of things. And I thought, you know, maybe I'll go financial sector. And she said, it's good to explore. She said, but don't reject what you are good at. And that really stuck with me. So as you think about what are the types of activities that bring me energy in my day? What were the things that the day flew by? When you start to make a list like that, it'll help you really identify maybe what lane do I want to take? Which path, which fork in the road do I want to take? So, okay, now let's start at the beginning. And I know some of you familiar faces, I've seen you at Pit Crew, South Lake, a number of the networking events over in Fort Worth as well. And so you may be further along in your search than some others that might be on this call today. But I think it's important that you get organized in your search. When I first was laid off, I got behind the computer and I applied. That's what I did, right? And you feel like the odds of statistics are going to work in your favor. If you just spend a lot of time flooding your resume, something's going to stick. There's this guy, Thomas Jackson. Don't know if any of you know him. He's a real guy. He's actually in DFW. And he was a guy that got laid off. And what does any good IT guy do when he gets laid off but build his own website to showcase his skills? And in it, Tom Jackson's tips and lessons of a job seeker. So you can see all kinds of tools that he has there. And by the way, as Jeff said, this presentation will be available to you. All of the links are hot linked at the very end. So you're just going to be able to click and use what you want. Okay. But he created this Excel file. Now, I realize with the help of AI, a few prompts, you could probably get something similar to generate. But I want to talk about why this is important, whether you use Tom Jackson's tool or something else. So, number one, if you are collecting unemployment, you have got to document your job search activities. Now, Texas Workforce Commission has a template for that you can get off of their website. You have to hold on to that in case you were audited. So you can use theirs, or you could use a tool like this. This is a single Excel file that documents where have you submitted your resume, what your networking contacts are, what interviews you've had, what career sites you have put your information on. So why is this important? You need to know where your stuff is out in the world, in the cloud, in the systems, in the ATS, because you've got to update it to remain current. Recruiters will go out and look for any new applicants in this skill set in the last 2 weeks. So if you throw something up on Ladders or Dice and you don't change it, you are stale and you are not going to show up. So you need to know, when did I last update it? When did I refresh it? So that you are going to stay current as the recruiters and the algorithms are looking to generate candidates when companies do their searches. The networking piece of this honestly isn't as necessary now, because LinkedIn has really enhanced itself in terms of your ability to understand connections and timeframes and things like that. But definitely know, when did I apply? Resume submissions for jobs. What job did I apply for? What's the company name? Did I have a contact? Was there someone in my network who gave me a boost? This is a great way to track all of that. So how should you be spending your time? You should be spending 60 to 70%, maybe 50% for sure, networking. Networking. You see, only 20% is applying. Most people do the inverse. I did the same thing. Like I said, apply, apply, apply. But you research the companies, you network, you look at who's in LinkedIn, who you can talk to, you have informational interviews. Then, yes, you're doing your interview prep. And then you see this 10% of skill development. This is really important. And we heard from John, we know what Computer Minds, the partnerships with Texas Workforce Commission. It's okay to have a gap on your resume. The question is, what are you doing during that time to stay current? So this is where the skill development really comes in. Using LinkedIn Learning, maybe you're learning AI, maybe you're getting a PMP certification, maybe you're returning to school. That's what I did. I resumed my MBA while I was laid off, so that when they said, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm completing my master's. So really spend time in this networking space and research space. CareerDFW.org. I can't say enough about, Jeff, what you have done, what the volunteers around this organization have done, because this is this is Grand Central Station for you, for your search. Everything that you need for your search, you're going to find at this website or at careerusa.org. And there's even a YouTube video on how to use the website. So it's linked there. Please take advantage. The videos, as Walt was saying. So as you think about your search, if you're applying and you're getting the phone calls, but you're not getting through the next round of interviews, then that tells me you've got a pretty sound approach on your resume and your job submissions, and you need to focus on interviews. But if you're not getting those phone calls after you apply on your resume, then you need to start with the resume. You don't need to pay people to do your resume. In fact, you shouldn't, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But whatever you could possibly need to know and learn is going to be right here on the Career USA YouTube channel. So thank you, Walt. Thank you, Jeff, the team. It's an amazing, amazing resource. Use it like a podcast. When you're in the car, don't watch it. Don't watch your screen while you're driving, but just use it like a podcast so that you can listen and grab those gold nuggets of information to enhance your search. All right, let's talk about networking. I said networking is a big place where you need to spend time. So what is it? I love this guy, John Gordon. John Gordon is an author. He's written The Energy Bus, The Carpenter. He writes these really meaningful but easy reads, often in the form of a parable. And he has, podcasts, all the things. And so he had a session on networking, and he actually had this guy, Bob Bodine, on his podcast. We're going to talk about Bob and who Bob is. So what is networking? When we say networking, it means connecting with people in order to enhance the relationship. It's not about what you're going to get. It's about what you can give. And so it's serving others. It's listening. It's encouraging. This is what networking is about. Now, Bob Bodine is a guy you've probably never heard of, but he is one of the top executive search guys in high profile sports. So if the University of Alabama needs a new football coach when Nick Saban retires, it's probably Bob Bodine that's going to work on that search. And he says 87% of jobs are placed by a friend. A friend will help you now. An acquaintance will wish you well. So here's my challenge to those of you in this meeting today. Do your friends know that you are in search? Have you put it on your social media? If you have social media. It's a hard thing to do. We're very prideful. We're very humble. We don't want to ask for help. But people want to help other people. This is what networking is. And they can't help you if they don't know. Okay? So be brave, put it out there. Now, you also need to know what it is you're looking for. So you can't just say, unfortunately, I've been laid off and I'm looking for a job. If you know anyone hiring, that's way too vague, right? If I was reading, and Jenny, I'm looking at you, right? I mean, I know she is marketing, she is events, this is her space. She has made that very clear. So when I see or hear something, I know exactly who to send that lead to. That is what networking is. So be sure that your friends, that your family know that you are in search and what you're looking for. Find networking groups that align to your expertise, but also, and we're going to talk about this when we get over onto LinkedIn, there are other groups of interest as well. So join the group, right? Career GFW, South Lake, Frisco Connect, Fort Worth Career Search Network, and show up in person. The job that I got when I finally landed was with a company called Zodiac Aerospace in Gainesville, Texas. I drove 53 miles each way every day. Those tires on my car lasted 65,000 miles because all I did was drive in a straight line really fast, like there was no wear on the sides of them. But I was in a networking group of HR professionals. And someone in my group got a phone call from Korn Ferry for a job. Jeff Barrows was my associate in the networking group, and he told the recruiter, he said, I am not the right person. You need to talk to Dee Robinson. And only because he and I had spent time getting to know each other, to understand one another's backgrounds. And it wasn't about him holding on to that lead for himself, but being open to share it. So thanks to Jeff, I got the introduction, I got the interview, and then eventually went on to land the job. We then got acquired by Safran, which is how I landed and then ultimately retired from them last year. So do not underestimate the power of your network. And this is why we talk about how much time you need to be spending inside the networking opportunities and doing that in person. Okay, LinkedIn. LinkedIn Tuesdays, great resource. Everything gets recorded except the ones from Terry Sullivan. So Terry uses LinkedIn in the B2B space. So he gives that information away free to the job seekers, but because it's also his bread and butter, he's not going to let us video it and post it. You should put your contact information in the header. I've shown you here my example. So Jeff, when you were saying, hey, some of you, I can't find you on LinkedIn, you need to make it really, really easy for the recruiters to find you and to quickly connect, not to click on the next 3 buttons and then find connect and then copy, blah, blah, blah. Make it super easy for the recruiters. Use today's keywords and industry terms. This is important on your LinkedIn. It's also important on your resume. Example, my first jobs in human resources were in personnel management. And then our VP had the great idea to rebrand our department, customer support representatives. Ever heard that in HR before? No, it sounds like a help desk, right? It was really HR business partners. We had a designated customer base, that customer support, and we were their HR focal point. That is an HR business partner. So it's okay to use today's terms, HR business partner, in order to convey the content of the job that you performed. So you've got to keep it relevant. Now, you need to join large groups of interest on LinkedIn if you haven't already done this. So for early career people, I recommend Texas Young Professionals. If there are certain jobs, lots of engineering jobs, and then Leadership Think Tank and Brain Expansion. These have over 2 million members. Now, I used to love the Harvard Business Review, but that one is locked because they only will accept 3 million members. So you can't get into that. But look for groups that have very, very large membership. Why? Why does this matter? Because on LinkedIn, you can message into people that are in your group for free. You get 5 a month, not 5 per group, but you get 5 free a month. So you don't have to pay for LinkedIn Premium. I don't recommend paying for LinkedIn Premium. Really? Okay, so I'm hearing a comment from Laura here. She's telling me now that this isn't working, which that must be really new because I've tested it because I'm not on premium.
It happened just 2 days ago.
Okay.
I think I went on there and I tried to use it 2 days
Okay.
ago and I couldn't message anybody anymore.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was just a one-time thing, but it popped up asking for payment.
Excellent. Okay, thank you for that feedback. I will definitely double check that.
Only
before-
2 per month now, Dee.
Sorry?
It's only 2 per month now.
Oh, 2 per month instead of 5 per month. Okay. Okay. And yes, Mike?
It's like pretty much anything you do in LinkedIn now, you get prompted for join premium,
Yeah. Yeah.
$0 for a month. So
Right.
they're aggressively pushing it. So cutting
Right.
back functionality sounds like.
Yeah. So Another way to use LinkedIn, and I tell people sometimes people are struggling on how to develop a profile or how to enhance it. Go look at, and these can be people in your network or maybe a second contact. Go look at your competition on LinkedIn. How are they portraying themselves? What does their profile look like? Do they look like a more attractive candidate than you do? And what's different about their profile than yours? So,
For some reason, you stopped.
oh, did I? I did. Look at that.
We love
I know.
you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so no need to pay anybody to refresh your LinkedIn or your resume. We're going to talk about that. Look at your competition, see how they're differentiating themselves. All right, other partners, it's not just LinkedIn. So you need to be using ChatGPT. I've got lots of information in the back about how to use ChatGPT in your search, different prompts. If you are early career, and I know I heard someone who had graduated, I believe, from Howard University recently, early career, let's say 0 to 3, 0 to 5 years postgraduate out of college, need to be on Handshake. Handshake is what companies use to find recent college grads, more so than LinkedIn. They don't want to post their jobs on LinkedIn because people with 10 and 15 years are going to apply for these jobs, and they're really looking for the entry level junior associates. So be sure if you were early career that you were on Handshake. And if you have a college degree, go back to your alumni organization and see if they support alumni in career search activities. Some universities will do this. So again, it's another resource that could be available to you to help enhance your job search. Okay, so now let's talk about the process. And I like to use the raft process. What you see is actually an emergency evacuation raft that we manufactured at Safran. We make a lot of stuff that you hope you never see, including oxygen systems, emergency evacuation slides, etc. So you're going to identify target companies, and we've heard today, right? People announce, who are my target companies? Other people say, how do you identify a target company? So one way to identify a target company is to use the NAICS code. And that is the National Association of Industrial Classification Specialty. I probably just tortured that, but enter NAICS and enter the type of company that you're looking for, and it will give you the code. And then you can say, tell me companies in DFW that have NAICS code 43120, and it'll give you a list of companies. So you're going to have target companies. You're going to review the job postings at that company, and then clearly you're going to apply for anything that you are qualified for. And before you do that, you are going to look at your LinkedIn to see who has a connection into that company, because you're going to apply through the ATS system, and you're also going to network in through the back door. Now, what if they don't have a company, a position available? Well, you're going to create a candidate profile. And this is going to generate notifications. This is really important. So let me tell you what's going on behind the scenes. Okay. So now for my colleagues in talent acquisition, I'm sure if I could see your faces, you would be nodding. So by the time, and as hiring managers, those of you that raised your hand, Somebody leaves and now you have a vacant position. You've got 2 weeks to fill it. Rarely do you get approval immediately to backfill. You've got to go through the justification. You've got to meet with the director. The director's got to get finances approval. Is it going to be at the same level? Are we going to reorganize? In the meantime, time is ticking and that chair is getting ready to be empty. So by the time the recruiter finally gets the requisition to post it, they're behind. And the manager is eager, maybe desperate, to get the job filled. So you're going for these target companies to create a notification. My target companies were Burlington Northern Santa Fe, Toyota North America, and the Container Store. And I created a candidate profile anytime the word human resources was posted, I would get an immediate notification. So the minute that recruiter hits post the job, it would come to me. Why is this important? Because this is going to put you at the front of the line when you get this notification. And that manager, those of you that have been managers, are going to be going into that recruiter's office the next day. Do I have any resumes? Anybody qualified? Anybody I can look at? Right? They're eager to get that job filled. So by using the notifications on the corporate career pages, that's going to help you jump to the front of the line. Now, when you see a job, I encourage you, even if it has a quick apply through Indeed or LinkedIn, go to the company's career page. LinkedIn is much better, much more current. Indeed, you often are looking at stale jobs because Indeed is an aggregator. It will go and scrape jobs off of other applicant tracking systems and advertise them. So you're going to spend time customizing your resume, generating a cover letter, filling out all of this information for a job that you see on Indeed that's not even open anymore. Because Indeed does a good job of grabbing them and throwing them up there. They don't do such a good job of circling back and pulling them off. So always go to the company's career page, and I encourage you to apply through the company's career page. Now you're going to customize your resume and cover letter, and you've got to remember, you've got to save it in a way that you can remember which version of your resume you have applied so that when they invite you in for the interview, you're going to take the right version that matches what they have on their desk. Then you're going to follow up. You can check on the status of the job. You can see if you can find the recruiter online, send them a message or determine an email. It's not hard to determine email configurations. So you can email people, make follow-ups to your contacts, and then always send a thank you. Always send a thank you to anyone who has taken the time to look at a connection, to make an introduction. But I caution you, do not use their name without their permission. And I even believe you should be very cautious when you use their name if you're in the interview, right? You may have a connection with one of your golf buddies who says, sure, I've got, I work at Southwest Airlines. I'm glad to give you an introduction. And what you don't know is he's a great golf buddy, but he's getting ready to be put on a performance improvement plan because he's not so great at his job. So unless you know that that person that you're networking with is really stellar in terms of their performance and reputation inside that company, I would be very cautious and I wouldn't do much name dropping. Okay, I would be remiss if I didn't show you how to create a Saffron profile because I do love that company. Cover letters, to do them or not. I believe they are valuable. No one ever gets rejected because they submitted a cover letter. So do a cover letter, a T format cover letter. ChatGPT makes it super, super easy because you tell it in the prompt, you upload the job description, you upload your resume and say, generate a cover letter for the Container Store for this position in a T format, highlighting their requirements and my qualifications. And boom, it spits it out. Now, it's going to be very long. You know this job. you know what's going to be the most important elements they're likely looking for because you know you're qualified for this job. So pull out 4 or 5 of the key elements and use that in your cover letter. Cover letter is also a great place to tell your story. Maybe you've recently relocated. Maybe you had a career break caring for an ailing parent. Whatever the circumstance might be, if you feel like there's something that might need some explanation, I think the cover letter is a great place to put it. So again, huge fan of the cover letter. Also, this T format is a great summary to use in your thank you note after an interview, reinforcing here's what you're looking for and here's what I'm going to bring to the table. All right, resumes. Everyone has an opinion on resumes. Everyone. Here's the most important thing. You've got to differentiate yourself. Your resume should not be a list of job duties that just came off your job description, because that doesn't tell me anything about the difference that you are going to be able to make in this job. So we've got to have results. Now, a couple of things. City, state, zip code should be on there, not your home address. No personally identifiable information. If you are someone that lives in McKinney and you're applying for a job in Waxahachie, you probably need an explanation in your cover letter that you are accustomed to commuting through the DFW area and that this distance is how you've managed your entire career, right? Some companies will use your zip code to do a geo search in their applicant tracking. So if you don't have it on there, you might not show up. But if you do have it on there, some people are concerned they might get screened out. So that's why I think, if it's a really long distance that you're willing to drive, you might want to explain that in a cover letter. Okay, there's a question from Mike. Yes. Yeah, so the question is, should you be more specific instead of just put DFW Metroplex? So some applicant tracking systems, they can say, give me candidates within a 20-mile radius of 75063. So if you only have DFW, you're not going to show up in that search. That's why I would put a zip code. If you're relocating to someplace else, pick something central. It doesn't have to be where you are, but it's something that could be within reason in a geo search. Now, not all applicant tracking systems do this. Not all recruiters will use this tool. So this is why I say ask 10 people for advice and you're going to get 15 different opinions. Question in the back?
Kind of. So whenever I fill in the Workday applications, I've been putting, although I live in Plano, I've been putting Dallas in the Workday profiles.
Yeah.
So although I've been doing it, I don't know how acceptable or how okay it is, because so far I haven't been questioned in the interviews saying, okay, in the Workday you said you are in Dallas, but you really live in Plano. So, and that's also because Dallas is the zip code that I put, 75204. It's kind of in center
Yeah.
to the locations that I'm looking for.
Right.
So my question would be, in your experience, do you know if somebody's been rejected for not giving out their real
Absolutely
zip code?
not. Never. No. Never seen that happen. Okay, on your resume, the left side is for the most important information. I need to know the job title and the company, the dates of employment pushed to the far right with a month and a year. And I do need the month and the year because recruiters have to do service math. Okay, this is HR math where the job says requires a minimum of 7 years of experience. Well, if you tell me you work somewhere from 2021 to 2023, that could be 35 months or it could be 14 months. So I need the month and the year so that the recruiter can do the calculation to make sure that you know that you've got the minimum number of years of experience. Dates of education, do not go on a resume unless you are a recent college grad. And once you've gotten that first job out of college, you don't even need to put it on there. Hobbies come off unless if you're applying for, let's say, an FP&A job and you volunteer as the treasurer at a local nonprofit, then great. But if you fly drones on the weekend, don't put that on there. If you enjoy photography, don't put that on there, because a recruiter is going to give you somewhere between 10 to 20 seconds to review your resume. That's it. So everything else can be a distraction to the qualifications of you and that job. Matt, you've got to customize it, guys. You have to customize it. Every single time, Dee? Yes, every single time. If you're applying for a customer service manager, then your resume under your name will say, Steve, customer service manager. Like, you've got to match it. That intro, that professional summary, you're going to summarize your experience as it relates to that job posting. You've got to, and there's great videos all through the Career USA website. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on that, but the customization is going to be the key. And if you're applying and you're not getting that feedback or you're getting rejected, I really challenge you to take a true and hard look at how you're customizing your resume. And if you're really doing a good job of matching your experience into those requirements for a match. All right. Results. Data, dollars, decimal points. That's what people want to see. Improved throughput by 12%. Conducted Kaizen events that reduced waste and eliminated WIP by 2 days, like whatever you have that's measurable. And some people say, but I don't know what that is. Okay, well then, did you receive recognition? Did you receive a spot bonus? Did you receive a team award? So the result can come about in any number of ways, but where you can quantify it and defend that quantification. If you tell me you reduce something by 24%, I guarantee you when you come to the pit crew, they're going to ask you what the measures were and how you determined a 24% savings. So you should expect that same question to come from one of your interviewers in the real interview. So be sure you can quantify it or at least explain it. And you may say, finance wouldn't release the information, but the team did receive a recognition award for achieving significant results. We got the project of the month or something like that. And then I've given you a link on metrics for your resume. Now, I say there's no reason to pay someone to refresh your resume. There's so many free resources. There's a group that is meeting right now, I believe at Market Street in Colleyville, I think on Fridays at 11, to do resume reviews. So there are people that will work with you on that. One word of caution. If you work with an agency, and I'll use Robert Half. I used Robert Half. They were a partner for us when we had positions that we needed to fill. So sometimes they will present a candidate. They will take your resume. They'll ask for your resume. And I say I use Robert Half as a name. This is not a practice, to be clear, this is not a practice that Robert Half does. But I had a candidate. He had applied through an agency. They had removed his name off the resume to present it to us because it was a contingent search. And we can talk about the different kinds of searches here in a little bit. So they took his name off, but they redid his resume and submitted it. And he didn't get to review it. So then I'm like, sure, I'll interview James Brown. Well, then James Brown comes in and I'm asking him questions about his resume and I get deer in the headlights. And he said, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I said, well, it says here, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, that's not what my original resume said. The agency changed it. So be very protective of your resume and the information that is presented and shared. So if someone wants it, great, give it to them. If an agency asks for it, but tell them, I want to see it and review it before you present it back to a company. So, okay. Great. Now you have an interview. Now what? Well, you are going to do your research. You're going to check your network for more connections. Have a conversation. See if they can tell you what's going on. Why is the position open? Anything you can glean before you go in to this first conversation. You're going to read the profiles of the people that you're meeting with. So when the recruiter calls you, ask them, say, can you tell me who I'll be meeting with? So read the profiles, but do not send a connection request to those people because you're not a connection. But why do you want to do this? You are looking for some kind of relationship, something that you can have in common that's going to create some warmth during your conversation, that's going to make you stand out. Yes, question.
So I had an interview a couple months ago and I did exactly that.
Oh, yeah. The speaker's right there.
Okay. And so I sent a LinkedIn invite to the guy that was going to interview me. And so to be fair, the job wasn't a perfect fit, but it was good enough. And luckily on his LinkedIn profile, he had included a bunch of acronyms of stuff that he does, that he works on. And I mean, I was incredibly thankful for all of that detail because the 3 or 4 days leading up to the interview, I could do all kinds of research on those acronyms. And these were acronyms that were clearly relevant to me and to the job, but I didn't put it on my CV. And I could actually redefine a lot of star stories based on the information that he provided freely on his LinkedIn profile. And I flew on to the next stage. I mean, it's really important to link in with the person that's going to interview you. And a lot of the times I think they accept, sometimes they don't. But then go through their whole LinkedIn profile and see what they're posting about and all of that stuff, because that is just really issue-rich stuff.
Yeah, it can be. That's why you want to go look at their profile. And I think if you're a second connection, you can see it, if I'm remembering correctly. Even without sending them. It may depend. So, okay, know your resume well and the facts and numbers on it. So you're going to review your resume and the right version of your resume. You're going to go to Glassdoor and you're going to read about the company and you're going to look at their interview questions. Now, even if they're not, let's say you're applying for a project management role. Well, maybe there's a program manager role, not a project management role, but you're going to be able to get insight into the types of questions that they ask. And this can be invaluable. And if your first interview is going to be over Zoom, and we're going to talk about that here on the next slide, or in the next couple of slides, you can actually put a little sticky note on your computer screen or on the wall behind you with some key prompts related to what Glassdoor has told you are the standard interview questions that you're going to get asked in a phone screen. You also need to have questions to ask. 10 plus 1 is what we say at the Pit Crew. And the plus 1 is asking. We've talked about that. Walt's interview success workshop. I am, I do, I help. That's what Walt helps us with. So when someone says, so tell me about yourself, this is going to be your intro, who you are, what you do, and how you help, the problems that you're going to help that company solve. And then, as Jameis said, the pit crew, fourth Wednesday of the month, we do remote to accommodate people that are outside of Dallas-Fort Worth. You want to go to the location the day before. Do not rely only on Waze. I tell people I applied for a job and it was at in Allen. And she told me, she said, now it's kind of hard to find. There's really not a lot of signage. So I drove out there the day before. Well, this was in this major warehouse district off of Stacy Road. And it's just white concrete buildings, one after the other. And they were allowed like this much print for the street number or the suite number, and then their logo was like this. So I would have been panicked trying to figure out which of these rows of warehouses was the right place to be. So go in advance, do not be late. When you show up, you are going to take printed copies of your resume. So this is why you've got to know which version they're holding, because they may say, you know, Kevin, I know we're going over our time here, but you know, I think Bob would really like to meet with you. Could you hang out maybe for another 30 minutes and let me get him a copy of your resume and see if he's available? And you're like, oh no, here, I've got it. I'm prepared, right? You just hand it right over to them. Do not decline an interview ever. It is, number one, great practice. But it is also an opportunity for you to introduce yourself into an organization. So I want to tell you about Russ. Russ got laid off during COVID. And he knew his industry, so he reached out. And by the way, when we talk about your network, it is your suppliers, it is your vendors, it's your customers. There's this huge network that you have. So when you think about your network and think, I don't even have a network, there were people that you interacted with or people that fed into your company that you can use to build your network. So he reached out in his industry to a company and they had a job. He was a senior manager and they had a job that was a senior manager. And so he went on the interview. Turns out their definition of a senior manager was very different than his company's definition of a senior manager. So there's a good lesson there. You can't rely on job title. So look at the scope of the job and apply. Apply, apply, apply. Yes.
Thanks for the mic, Tim Farrell. Should you ever decline an interview where they're going to fly you across country to interview where you know you already don't want the job, that you've decided, oh no, this is not my fit?
Yeah, Jama just said free trip. Look, you know, I mean, it's Tim, that's a personal decision. But let me tell you about Russ, okay? So Russ went on the interview. Russ got the offer, but through the course of the interview, Russ had realized this was a couple of steps back. And so he turned down the offer very politely and just said, you know, I believe in this company, your products, what you guys are doing, but at this time, it's just too big of a step back. I appreciate it. If something comes up, please let me know. They called him 3 months later to come back in, and he got a director job because they had reorganized. So if he had understood that that senior manager role was a lower level and he'd have just said, I know I'm not going to take that, he would have missed the opportunity to introduce himself to them and highlight his skills so that they would want to create a position or find one for him later. So that's why I say don't decline an interview. It's practice, could be a free trip. You know, I say take the interview and then continue to apply for other jobs, no matter how well that interview goes. All right. The day of the interview or a day? Yes, Mike.
Getting my job search in the fall. I had an analytics startup company, flew through the interview process. Everything was looking great. We were starting to talk, negotiate the whole bit. And then literally like 3 weeks went by, 4 weeks went by, and then finally I got that dreaded, it's put on hold, no budget.
Right.
So, but I had stopped everything for basically like almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Just figuring I got this.
Right.
And that was huge mistake, lesson learned. So till you have an offer, act like you don't.
Right.
So.
And even after the offer, I maintain, even after an offer. First paycheck, Walt says. Okay, so the day of your interview or maybe the day before, really dig into that resume, look at those results, know your star stories, your rat stories, review details on the company, get as much information as you can, looking at the profiles of the people. And then in the interview, right, you start with this compelling introduction that we've talked about. I am, I do, I help. You're going to use the names of your interviewers throughout the interview. You say, Walt, that's a great question. I'd love to tell you about this particular challenge we had. Something just very casual and informal, but again, building a rapport, building a good relationship. And then it's no longer the inquisition. I'll be honest, I was accustomed to, you're the candidate, they bombard you with questions, you sit there, you take it, you answer, and then you wait until you're given permission to ask your questions. It's flipped on its head now. Now what you do is you want to ask your questions during the interview. And coming to the practice interview team, working with Walt's Interview Success Workshop, these are the tools that you're going to get in terms of how do you do that. There's also a specific video on this topic that I just sent to someone else yesterday. Use it. Why do you want to do this? Because you want to get information about what's going on. What are the problems they're trying to solve and how are you going to help solve them? So if you can get them, if they talk about, tell me about a time that you had an ERP implementation. Okay, well, they've seen on my resume, I've done ERP implementations. You answer the question, and then you immediately say, are you considering changing your ERP? And they're going to say, well, yes, we haven't decided which. Now you have information that you can weave throughout the rest of this in terms of your experience in the selection and implementation of ERP systems. So this is why you want to interject those questions throughout. And then at the end, you want to ask for the job. I mean, if it's a sales job, you're going to ask for the job. You got to close it, right? That's what Larry Goldsticker always talks about. Maybe it's the close that says, I remain so interested. And I love to present a word picture when in the close that says, after learning more about this, I can see myself in that desk in front of that computer screen, generating these leads for our sales team. What are the next steps that can get me closer to being in that desk? And so you're creating this vision where they're envisioning you sitting in their office doing that job. Always send thank you notes and then follow up. If you get the rejection, you need to follow up in about 60 to 90 days because maybe they picked the wrong person. Maybe it's not the right fit. So you reinforce your interest in the company, your skills and qualifications, and just keep yourself in front of them. Okay, the video interview, neutral position, work on the lighting. If you have to move in front of a window, do that. Get a soft ring light, whatever you need to do. Elevate your camera so that it is eye level. Do not tilt it so that you get dizzy ceiling fans spinning in the background, those kinds of things. Canva, you can create a custom background on Canva, just like Jeff has done for his. I've got a custom one, but for some reason it wasn't working this morning. All the things. So a couple other things. it's very hard and a lot of times they'll do a phone screen or a video screen first. This is more challenging to create a personal connection. So put a sticky note by your camera lens with a smiley face. And also put the word breathe, because you tend to hold your breath on a video interview because you're so focused on what they're saying and you're literally cutting off the blood to your brain. You don't want to do that. So remind yourself to breathe, have a good forward posture, and then look into that camera lens. That's going to create eye contact for the person on the other side. Now, it's hard because our eyes want to come down because we want to read their reaction to how we're responding. So, and you don't have to like lock in and stare, but just keep going back up that little sticky note by the camera lens so that you are maintaining eye contact. Okay, some mistakes. And Mike, you were very vulnerable in sharing it right there, right? The last one, which is stopping a search during the final interviews. But common mistakes, lack of real preparation. So this is, like I said, I want you to be really honest with yourself. How hard am I working at this? Not using AI, whether it's Copilot, ChatGPT. But let me talk about that. Let me caution you. Using AI is like having an intern. It's someone that's going to give you a good start and a jumping off point, but it's got to be your voice and your language. And you need to pay close attention. A real example of what happened to me last week. We were planning a little backyard gathering for some friends. I asked AI to generate a party invitation. And it did. And I was like, oh, change this. And it did. And change that. And it did. And then I said, leave everything unchanged and add one line at the bottom. Please bring a lawn chair, because I didn't have enough seating for everybody. And it spit it back out at me. And it changed my address, which had been perfectly fine in the first 5 iterations. So when you ask it to change something, don't just look at the one thing that it changed. You've got to review your entire document every single time. But again, it's a great jumping off point. Typos and grammar errors. I want you to take your resume and your cover letter, read it out loud, slowly, word by word. Yes. While he's getting the mic, I can't tell you how many mangers instead of managers I have seen, for example. Yes.
Well, in that environment where you're tailoring a cover letter for each and every single job, I mean, it can be quite difficult. And one of the tricks that I've used is that you actually read your letter backwards, so that you don't get kind of like this, because your brain glosses over things.
Exactly.
And you genuinely just don't see it.
Yeah.
And so when you read it backwards, the words don't make much sense, and it keeps your brain sharp.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, lots of hands coming up now.
Thanks. Rob Swan. So there's also a program that I've used where you can copy and paste into a box and then it'll read it out to you. Because I've done that before where I'm reading something, but my brain knows what I want it to say.
Yeah.
If I have a computer reading it, that's when I note the mangers that
Yeah.
are in my resume.
And have multiple people read over it. I usually
Exactly.
use my daughters because they're very good at criticizing me.
Yeah. Hey, that's why I say read it, a friend, whatever. Now, you've got to have star stories. And there are some links, some deep dives on that, on the star stories. If you're someone that rambles, then you're going to use rats. You're going to put your result up front, and then you're going to talk about how you got there. Not practicing interviewing is another mistake, or assuming that because it's a former boss or it's through a strong connection that you don't need to prepare as much because they already know you. I've seen people even with a CEO level connection. And so that CEO brings them in, but then they've got to meet with the team, and they're not prepared. They haven't prepared as well as they should have. And then you don't ever stop during that final, even when they're like, listen, we love you. HR's on vacation again. I don't know why HR is always on vacation, but when they get back, I'll have them get you an offer. And then it goes silent because that manager doesn't know there's going to be a hiring freeze, et cetera. Okay, offers. I'm going to go through this really fast. And I misspoke yesterday at Pit Crew. So I am speaking in July, an entire topic on salary negotiation. We'll deep dive into that at South Lake. But you don't have to immediately accept the offer. You need to take time to understand it. You need to understand the base pay. Great. That's pretty straightforward. But what's coming into your paycheck, like bonuses, like 401k contributions, and then what's coming out? What's the cost of healthcare? Does the company subsidize a lot? Or are you actually going to be bringing home less than before because you have to pay so much for your benefits? We're going to talk about bonuses. And I'll go in more detail next month, but a lot of companies like to throw out bonuses, but you need to understand the likelihood of achieving that max bonus. I worked for a company, they would say, this has a 25% target. Okay, great. How do you achieve 25%? Well, you have to achieve 120% of EBIT. Well, how often does that happen? It's never happened. So you only get half of that if you actually hit the target. So you've really got a 12.5% if you hit the financial goals, not a 25. Others, companies do it differently. So you've got to ask for the details about the bonus program and the likelihood of payout. Other things, holidays, when am I eligible for a raise? If you're still in search and it's towards September or October and they offer you a job, likely you're not going to get a raise in 2026. They've probably pulled forward a 2.5 or 3% merit and already front loaded it into the offer that they're going to give you. Other elements to consider, I'm going to let you guys read all of this. Don't be afraid to counter. It's okay. Do it respectfully. Explain why. And they may say, we took internal equity into account. We're not able to make any changes. Well, could you consider a signing bonus? Something like that. I've never seen anybody retract an offer because of a counter offer. Yes, Jeff.
Who do you negotiate with? HR or the hiring
HR.
manager?
HR. Whoever extends the offer to you is who you communicate back through. Yes.
I've been told if you get an offer, you either have to say yes, no, or counter offer within 72 hours. Do you agree with the 72 hours?
I think 72 hours is very reasonable. And here's one thing I would say. Let's say that you get an offer and it's your second choice and you have been told you're expecting one from your first choice. Say yes to number 2. Always say yes. And then if another one comes, then you can go back and say, I was in search. Turns out I've received another offer and it's so compelling. I need to retract my acceptance, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much. I mean, we had it happen. When I hire someone who's looking for a job, I know they're looking for a job. They're interviewing elsewhere.
So I have an interview on Monday, and when I applied on the company web, it's actually a city job, local city job. The pay range went from a $30,000 range, and they called me and told me that it was a $7,000 range, which was about 20,000 less than I put as my firm bottom dollar, which is required when applying on the website. I got a phone call asking me would I take within that 7,000 range. And I told them, I would consider it, depending on the benefits, to take the interview for practice. So I went on the city's website and found out that the actual pay for the previous person in that position, because there is only one, was within a couple thousand of my firm amount. So after negotiating or after the interview, if I'm offered the job, should I work with HR on requesting the amount I want, or?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're going to have to decide what that financial threshold is. But if you applied and you communicated your expectations and they know that, then I think you have the conversation. Just, and like you said, good for you. Practice in the interview. I'm going to practice. But yeah. And sometimes the city can't make a change because they're very, very structured in their grade. It's possible that that person that was in that job before, they might have broken some pieces apart and actually downgraded the job. So that's why they're not going to pay at that higher level. There's a lot of restructuring and reasons for why it might be different. But take the interview, negotiate.
Then you said about preparation and planning all the time, and I think everything should be planned and prepared, including what's the culture that you like so that you can find out if it matches. But if you can't describe your own culture, if you can't describe the benefits that you want, so you should have a target of here's my benefit list, here's my goals, here's my objectives, here's what I'm looking for. So then I have a position to negotiate from. So that doesn't, so when we have 72 hours and we get an offer and we are prepared to analyze that offer against our desires rather than just trying to figure it out within
Sure.
that time.
Great
frame.
point.
So I know that that just part of the preparation and
Yeah.
planning that you talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me finish this. This is the last slide. And then, because I know we kind of got a late start and are bumping up against the lunch crowd. So something that isn't always talked about that I think is really important during this time is how you are taking care of yourself. This is a hard journey. And again, I say this from personal experience, right? We had 2 kids in college when I got laid off. My husband was a 4th grade teacher. He was able to do that because I had a really, I had a very nice salary. And so it's hard. So you need to be having a conversation inside your household. And this isn't a bullet on the screen. So I just want to talk about it. You need to be having a conversation in your household on how you're going to talk about what's going on in your search. At first, I'll tell you my experience. My husband would come home and he would say, "How was your day?" And I felt compelled to give him a detailed account of everything that I had done and every job that I had applied for so that he knew that I had not been idle. And he was not asking for an accountability of how I had spent my day. He truly cared about me and wanted to know how my day was. And once we had this conversation, I said, you know what? Here's the deal. When I get good news, you're going to be the first person I tell, whether it's a callback, whether it's a great networking conversation, whatever. So if this is happening in your house, and maybe it is your partner who's saying, have they called you back? Have you heard anything? Any new leads today? Like if they're bombarding you with that, then you need to be able to just sit down and have a conversation that says, look, I know you want this for me and for us as much as I want it. And I promise you, I will give you, and I will share that information. We will celebrate together. You need to be staying current. I met with someone who's been out of HR for 4 years and she wants to get back in. And I said, what have you done to stay current? And I got a blank look. So, LinkedIn learning, workshops, TED Talks, YouTubes, there's all kinds of personal individual development you can be doing. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just be active and intentional in it. I love asking people, tell me about a book or podcast that impacted you. So dig into those. Get away from the computer, get some vitamin D, step outside, take a walk around the block. Volunteer with purpose. And volunteering can expand your network. If you want to work for Keurig Dr. Pepper and you know that they are huge at the North Texas Food Bank and they do events there every quarter, man, I'd start volunteering at the North Texas Food Bank because I bet somebody there could give you an introduction to somebody at Dr. Pepper Keurig. Go to church, strengthen your faith. For me, this was huge. Many of these organizations that we attend, these sessions we attend, right, start with prayer, praying for the employers, praying for our search. And it was just an extra layer of comfort for me during that time. And then have an accountability group. Now, an accountability group is not your wind down Wednesday girlfriends. They have a place, okay? It's not your craft beer trivia night. These are people that are going to hold you accountable. You said you were going to identify 3 target companies. Did you do it? They're going to celebrate with you. They're going to coach you. And it's tough to develop if you don't show up in person or if you're not making deeper connections through what you see on the chats and those kinds of things in terms of really following up. Okay, here's all the links. It's all going to be here. You Pack Your Own Chute video is actually very old and very interesting. It's about a woman who can't swim and is afraid of heights, and she decides she's going to jump out of an airplane into the bay off the coast of California. And she's talking to her parachute instructor or the skydiving instructor. And she says to him, "Do you ever get scared?" And he said, "No, I pack my own chute." So the point is, you've got the tools to pack your own chute. You've got people who are going to help you pack your own chute. So when I left my job, someone wrote this on my whiteboard, having no idea that 13 months later I would be laid off, and having no idea that what do we celebrate when we get a job? We call it a landing. So anyway, connect with me on LinkedIn. Jeff, thank you for the invitation. Walt, thank you. I'm glad to take any questions offline later.
There's one online that Mike asked. I just paid $4,000 for a training that's applicable in the job that I'm interviewing for. Would it be out of order to ask that as a signing bonus?
Oh, great question. So no, it wouldn't be inappropriate at all to ask. You could absolutely ask. Little secret, as I said, I had resumed my MBA. And when I landed, I asked them to agree to continue to pay for tuition reimbursement, which there was a program for it, but it had a 1-year waiting period. And I asked them to waive the 1-year waiting period, and they did. Now, if I'd have left, I'd have still been obligated to repay it. So I think that would be the strategy. Would they pay for it because it's part of the job? And understanding that you would repay them if you left within a year if they reimbursed you for that.
Questions in here? Or anybody online? Got a hand up.
Thanks. At larger companies, do they keep a profile and record of you as you apply between different jobs? I'm thinking back to this topic of proceeding with interviews if you're not okay with the salary or you're going to drop out at the end.
Right.
Does that stay with you if you would apply for other jobs there?
Most companies are not that sophisticated, no. And in fact, most companies don't do a good job of starting when they get a requisition by going into the candidate pool that already exists, because they generally believe that that's a stale pool, right? Those people applied, were motivated, looking then, they might not be looking now. So they're still going to post that job and look to generate a new slate of candidates. The only time I've seen a candidate be negatively impacted is someone who applied for every single position that we advertised, whether it was an aircraft assembler, a warehouse worker, or a director of accounting. Like, yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody online? You not mute your mic and ask.
This is Lewis. I did actually ask a question online, Jeff, but the question to D is, when someone offers you a contract, not a job, but a contract job, let's say for a year or whatever, the previous employer that I had kind of pressed me to sign, real quickly. And I said, I need at least, 48 to 72 hours to analyze it. So how long can you tell an employer, I need XYZ amount of time? And then also, because you are signing something legally with termination clauses and things, who do you recommend to take a look at something like that? Because once you enter into those, and I made a move cross country, you're kind of stuck in it. So I'm just curious your opinion on that.
So I don't normally see contracts being signed. If someone's asking you to sign a contract, an employment contract, then you need to review it with an employment lawyer.
Okay, but typically how long would you think the time that you could, if the employer keeps pushing, obviously then that's a red flag, but generally how long do you think you should be able to tell them while you go out and find an employment lawyer to look at it for you?
Yeah, I think it's okay to say, look, I'm very interested in this and I'd like to have an expert review the terms and conditions. So if I could have some time to do that, I would appreciate it. And then whatever time that would take.
Thank you.
To be able to just pick up and call, employmentlawyers.com and get a review in 24 hours. Yeah, you could. I mean, if you're in a job that, you're going to be working through legal employment contracts, not job offers, which are normally at will in almost every state, then you should probably have an employment lawyer relationship. Unfortunately, I can't make any suggestions on those.
That's okay. We learn from our experiences, and I certainly learned from mine. So
yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, Dee, thank you very, very much. Let me show a few more slides and we'll get out of here. Next Friday, Tony Bashira from Babbage Associates will be with us to talk about the top 10 mistakes of resume writing. He sees hundreds of resumes every week, and he's got some very strong opinions of what we should and should not be doing. Skip those. On the Career USA YouTube channel, as Dee mentioned earlier, there's a lot of great information. There's over 680 videos up there right now. If you want to see this presentation, it'll be click on the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. Click on playlist. Every video I put up there goes into one of 7 different playlists. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see the one on interviewing. So there's 20 hours of material there. Who knew there was 13 steps on interviewing? My little hint is if somebody calls you up for an interview and say, hey, can you meet? We'd like to see you Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I'd love to go by. I have another interview scheduled because you're going to the pit crew. Can we do it on Thursday? So, make them think that you've got something else in the works too. They will never know. All right, this video, along with other ones, once you click on view full playlist, it'll come up in chronological order and you can see all the subjects that we've talked about in the past. Scroll down and watch any of them that you want. The one we had a couple weeks ago, the Chat GPT with Rusty Wright, when I looked on Tuesday, 68 times people had gone back to watch that video, which was one of the highest on the list. All right, next Tuesday, LinkedIn Tuesday, I'm going to be presenting Present Yourself Like a Pro. Ruth Lipsky is on, had to get on out of town for an event. So I'm going to fill in next Tuesday and do that. Next Wednesday, the practice interview team will be meeting right here in this room. Just come and watch. You'll learn just by watching everybody else being interviewed. And then next Friday at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group, we'll talk about the top 10 big mistakes of resume writing with Tony Bashara. Coming up after that on the 27th, getting referrals, who do you know? And then on Friday, July 4th, because it happens to be July 4th on a Friday, we will not be meeting that day. Yes. Oh, yes, and the pit crew will be meeting downstairs because of Vacation Bible School up here this next week. So they'll be just watch. They'll be downstairs in the big room. All right, today for lunch we're going to Dickey's Barbecue. How many people think we're going to go? So we know how big a table to get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so try to find one of the big tables. Whoever gets there first. Fathers out there, please have a happy Father's Day. And thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.
Happy Father's Day.